Hello guys, so there's some exciting news that Bioware just dropped on us. If you have been following recent gossips regarding Dragon Age Dreadwolf, you know that there's been a lot of speculation regarding the game making an appearance during the Summerfest. We'll circle back to that later in the video, but for now let's discuss the latest news from today. So for one, Dragon Age Dreadwolf is going to be officially renamed. It's not the first time that a situation like this happened at Bioware, and personally I think it's a good idea. In my previous video about the Chantry, I pointed out how I was making that video because it seemed like people were tired of Eva Nuri's overwhelming online discussions about the lore and the future game. I think it's something that Bioware noticed too, because they wrote in their blog that naturally, the Dreadwolf still has an important part in this tale, but you and your companions, not your enemies, are the heart of this new experience. Another news which seems to be more important is that we can finally expect a gameplay reveal on the 11th. This means that the developer was not planning on making it happen during the Summerfest or during the Xbox showcase, as a lot of people have been predicting. However, just in case, I'm going to keep an eye on the events over the weekend, because perhaps we'll get a new trailer before the 11th. I'll make sure to keep you guys updated, so I encourage you to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm also uploading a new video about dwarves and dwarven theories on Friday. As always, the script for that video will be available for free on Patreon. Okay, now let's move on from those two major news and let's extract some less important information about the next Dragon Age game. Something I want to mention is that sadly there is zero chance that the Inquisitor will come back as a playable protagonist. And I know chances were already pretty much non-existent, but her romance with Solas seems unfinished. Part of me hopes that Dragon Age the Veilguard will allow us to temporarily control our Inquisitor when facing Solas, perhaps. To support this idea, I'll remind you how at the end of the Trespasser DLC, we can choose whether we want to break up with Solas or not, and then we can also decide what the Inquisition does to prevent Dreadwolf from tearing down the veil. It seems like the organization might play a role in either his death or in his salvation. Okay, so the protagonist is absolutely not going to be the Inquisitor. From some gameplay leaks, we know it might be a character named Rook, but we'll only know for sure in less than a week. What about the companions? So there is going to be 7 of them, which we kind of already knew from this concept art. To be honest, part of me is also disappointed about that, because I wanted to once again have Varric on the team. Players love him. We know he will be obviously a part of the game in one way or another, because he voiced some of the previous teasers and he talks about saving his friend. In my opinion, if Bioware wants to wrap up the Inquisitor's story and give it true closure, the best way to do it is to have Solas's closest friends present during the confrontation with him. And those friends would be Cassandra, Varric, and the Inquisitor, regardless of whether they romance the Elven god or not. Imagine the Inquisitor who has low approval with Solas and punched him, once again coming back to say something snarky. It would be hilarious, and also would be a great chance to have players' decision from the previous games have real consequences in the next one. It seems like Bioware did not change their mind about the game being single-player experience though. Personally, I'm very happy with that decision because it shows independence from EA's influence that is not always the most positive. Now, regarding the next game story itself, in my Theras Calls trailer breakdown, I speculated that the voice at the end of the trailer was Elgar'nan, not a Canary leader. I also found something that looked like a shadow of a dragon in the clouds over the Weishaupt fortress, and I was arguing that it was a silhouette of Elgar'nan's dragon form. From previous gameplay leaks, we know that indeed there's going to be a dragon present there. I would say that this new blog post confirms it, because Bioware says you will unite this team of unforgettable heroes as you take on a terrifying new threat unleashed on the world. Tearing down the veil means that the two remaining old gods might awaken. So I will say it once again. I don't think that the real threat is the Canary. In my opinion, it will be Elgar'nan, Gilanan, and possibly an awoken titan in the Underfells. In case you're curious about the stake, links to the trailer breakdown video will be in the comment section and in the video's description. Something I want to also briefly discuss is the whole obsession I see with Jeff Grubb's leaks. I'm not sure why. Perhaps it's because people want to find anything to make articles or videos about, but it seems like a ton of clickbait result from some things he says. Not everything being said is even accurate at all. I just don't get it. Personally, I believe in respecting people's time, so I did not make any video about Summer Game Fest 2024 or the Xbox showcase, and I decided to wait until the last minute to see if Bioware says anything before the weekend. So, to be perfectly honest with you, if you are really into Dragon Age games and have time to spare, I would keep an eye on the news before the 11th, in case some trailers come out over the weekend. But if you don't have that much time and you have to pick a date to celebrate, I would just join the Bioware stream on the 11th. Lastly, I would like to reassure new players that the next game is not going to be difficult to get into. The same post we just discussed reassures that the Veilguard will be a standalone experience. I would say that so far every single game in the franchise was pretty straightforward when it comes to being newcomer friendly, so even if you are not someone who is deeply into the lore, there should not be too much confusion regarding what is going on. I would even risk saying that if you have not completed any of the previous games, you should probably be fine with making the next IP your first complete Dragon Age experience. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I'm excited for the coming days because the gameplay reveal will be a massive celebration for all of us. As I mentioned, a video on dwarves is coming out tomorrow, but for now, take care.